Welcome to the summary of Part 1 and Part 2 of Anna Karenina. I considered separating all the parts into their own separate summaries, but it's just not worth it. So let's start doing Part 1 and Part 2 of Anna Karenina. Now, a little interesting note before I start this. This is in the 1870s, and this is the context of the Russian Revolution. It's talking about the reform mindseted people that were in the nobility as well as the peasants. So this only talks about the nobility because that was the class that Tolstoy knew best. We start off with a little household where one of our own little misfits goes ahead and comes from. Here we have a little bit of a issue. This is the Oblonsky household, and the Oblonsky household has a little bit of a big, gigantic scandal because they are in one of the big periods, like big high position states in Russian family. So it's technically a scandal, and there's an affair where our husband in the Oblonsky family goes ahead and had an affair with the French governess, who was the former French governess to their children. They had to fire her, I guess, because of the affair. And then the wife of the husband was like, I cannot live like this anymore. And he was all begged, like he hasn't been home for 3 days, and he was all like, yeah, please. He begged her to remember all the 9 years of their marriage, and then she was all like, you are a different person, and you are not a good person anymore. Get out of my way. I do not even recognize you anymore. He went ahead and visited his old pal, Levin. Coincidentally, sounds a lot like Lenin. It's his friend Levin. And then his friend Levin was all like, yeah, hi Steve, yeah, very nice place. I had this pretty big scandal, and I had a pretty big affair, and now I really want to do something about this. He was like, yeah, sure, I got you covered, but first I need to do something else. See ya soon. So then we go into the ice rink scene, where here we go to the hotel, and at that hotel there's the gigantic ice rink that obviously only the rich can afford to go. This is where we meet Kitty, and Kitty is all like, yeah, this is one of the best places ever. And Levin's like, yeah, I really like it when you go ahead and rely on me a lot. And Kitty's like, I don't rely on anyone. Get out of my way, you doofus. She doesn't like Levin, apparently, or she does think Levin's a nice guy, but she doesn't love him, or doesn't exactly accept him as a suitor because she has eyes on someone else, apparently. Now, the thing about this is now we finally get to meet Anna. Now, Anna finally arrives into the scene. She is, well, we get her described physical attributes secondly. We first get her spiritual attributes, which is a pretty big importance towards Tolstoy. Tolstoy hates Anna and cherishes her at the same time, and that's one of the most important things that you should note about Anna Karenina. She's one of the evil guys, the bad guys of the world because of all her stuff inside of her. At the time, though, she seems to be the bad guy. Now, the thing about Anna Karenina, though, is that Anna herself is kind of not in the best situation ever. She herself went ahead and met this guy named Vronsky, who was one of the few men that she saw as soon as she left the train, like got out of the train and went to like Moscow. And then at Moscow, she was all like, yeah, this is gonna be a great place. She goes ahead and goes to the bar in a black dress. I can't draw it in black because then you won't be able to see it at all because the background's black. But imagine this as a black dress. And then she went ahead and first danced with Vronsky. And Vronsky was like, yeah, this is incredible. This woman is incredible. Kitty was all like, I don't really care. And she even danced with him a little bit as well, too. But then later on, after he left her, he was to go ahead and dance with Anna. She decided for the final dance, she would go ahead and shun all her suitors, and hoping that Vronsky would go ahead and ask her for the final dance. Unfortunately, so for her, is that she's spurred by him, and he dances with Anna. She even rejected Levin for the dance, even though he asked her for it, and then she just to want to dance with Vronsky, which backfired horribly. Kitty was all sad and all, and then she decided life wasn't worth living anymore and started to grow sick and sick and sick. So Anna thought this was a triumph for her because Vronsky would rather be with her than this kitty. However, she knew that this could never be because unfortunately for her, she was already married and she was had a family and a son in St. Petersburg. She went ahead and went back into her. She went back to St. Petersburg via trains. Went ahead and saw her husband again, and then saw her little son. The only reason why she was still in this marriage was because of her son, and it was because of her son that she went ahead and went through all of the things with this husband that she didn't even love. Then when she realized that Vronsky went ahead and followed her back to Moscow, from Moscow all the way to St. Petersburg, she was delighted and head over heels in love with the dude. But about him, he's a really respectable person, so he never left slip that he loved Anna. Other people could go ahead and connect the dots and realize that he was in love with Anna. And what's happening to Kitty? Meanwhile, Kitty's all like, yeah, this sucks. Life sucks. I got rejected. I rejected someone I kind of like just so I could be with someone I think I like. And that person just rejected me entirely. And now I have absolutely no suitors anymore. What the heck is wrong with my life? Her family went ahead and brought her to several doctors, though they already suspected that she was sick because of love. And then they all said, okay, she has emotional damage. You need to go ahead and fix her a little bit. And they tried to comfort her a little bit, so Kitty really kind of hates meeting other people right now. Anna came in and visited Kitty because, well, she knew about her rejection of Levin, and then eventually, even after rejecting Levin, being rejected by the lover of her life, which is unfortunately loves her, Anna, instead. That's unfortunate, and that's great for Anna. It's great news and great triumph for Anna, but it's terrible news and terrible tidings towards Kitty. They would later witness someone suiciding themselves by jumping in front of a train and then killing themselves on that train, but this would later go ahead and foreshadow something later in the book. No spoilers right now, so I've accidentally spoiled the book because I forget where part 2 ends. So this is where part 2 ends. Part 2 ends where Karenin, Anna's husband, his name's Karenin, went ahead and decided to go to watch a race with Anna, and the race was a horseback riding race, and then one of the contestants was the one and only. You know it, you know him, you guessed it. It's Vronsky, and on his Frofro, his favorite horse. He's all like, yippee yay, and he went ahead and went on the race, but then after accidentally moving a wrong way on the saddle, he broke Frofro's back, forcing them to shoot the poor thing. When that happened, and I was all like screamed no a little bit incredibly too loudly, as if he was her husband. And then her husband was like, what the heck are you doing? That's very immature of you. You don't even know that guy. You don't even love the dude. And she says, okay, after they went home, she went ahead and confessed something towards him. I don't exactly love you. I love this guy. The only reason why I'm still here is because of my kid. And he's like, what? I don't care that you don't love me, Zoe, but I do need you to stay in this marriage, because if you don't stay in this marriage, it's going to be very scandalous. If I divorce you or something like that, or if you just died, if you died, it wouldn't matter that much. But if I divorce you, it's going to look scandalous. Just stay in this marriage for a little bit longer until we can handle things. Okay? It's like, as she has any say in this. Vronsky would later go ahead and meet Anna, trying to get her to go ahead and run away with her. She says that she's pregnant again, and he says, yeah, we'll raise the kid together right now. Let's go. But she says that she does reveal that the only reason why she's still here is because of her son, and her son definitely does not want to go, and that she definitely cannot bring along this trip. Later on, when Kitty finally starts to recover a little bit, Anna starts going head over heels in love with Vronsky, and this doesn't work out in the best possible imaginable way. Oh, and Levin starts to go ahead and goes away, goes onto a farm, starts farming, and tries to find his own meaning of life, trying to find his own identity and who the heck he is as a person, that is, not who he is in name or legality, who he is in person. What kind of person is he? He goes ahead and goes off into the woods to go ahead and think about it, like a farmer Jesus, like Jesus farmer, something like that. And that's pretty much the end of part 1 and part 2 of Anna Karenina. We don't get much afterwards, and all we get is these sappy love stories about how everyone's being betrayed by each other. And because of that, I finished Anna Karenina part 1 to part 2, and I hope to see you guys soon in the next episode. I'll talk more about part 1 and part 2 in my analysis video of the full book, but that's still a long way to go. So until then, Shihana, peace. Bye bye.